Hi, this is Luana, and this is our 13th week of promoting this program. In case you don't know, you just happen to tune in. This is the PAG, and we are all about books and authors. And what we do is we kind of highlight those we have found that have written something. I prefer to interview the author, but sometimes we can't get a hold to someone who can meet, unfortunately, my time schedule. And then sometimes theirs is kind of hectic as well. But I do like to talk with the authors to find out why it is that they wrote the book. So that's part of what this group is about. This program, I should say, is all about. We interview authors, we interview those who want to be authors, those who are thinking about authors, and those who are laying back and saying, well, someday I'm going to write that book. Well, we're here to try to encourage you to go ahead and write that book now. Don't wait any longer. Tomorrow's not promised to us, so you put it off too much longer and you'll take it with you, and we'll all miss out on it. Anyway, last week I gave you 14 ways that you could repurpose an ebook that you have written. And I'll briefly go back over them, and then I'll add more to that list of things that I gave you. And I hope that some of you have taken advantage of what I suggested as ways that you could repurpose your books in this day and age, when we're all trying to figure out just what it is that we want to do in order for us to survive. And I find that I enjoy writing, and everyone knows how much I love reading. That's my passion. I know I can't make money at it because I'm a stickler about what I like to read. I don't just read anything. Got to be something that I'm interested in. And if I'm not, it takes me forever. And so I just stay away from things that I'm not really interested in. As you know, I enjoy romance stories. And I would like to encourage you to think about maybe writing a romance. I've started another one, and I say another one because I got several that I've started, but I haven't finished them. I'm hoping that this time I will, however, go ahead and finish it. Maybe if I finish that book and get it out there, maybe I'll lose some of my steam for reading. Yeah. I have too many favorite authors out there who know how to write what I like to read. That's not going to happen. Only time I'll start reading will be when the good Lord calls me home. And I'm praying that's going to be a long time from now. You know, he told me I could have 120, and I'm kind of holding him to that 120 years. So let's talk about well, first, before we talk about them, let's go over some of the ways that I suggested as uh, ways you could repurpose your book. Please forgive me. For some reason, my tongue seems to want to trip over itself today. All right, we talked about breaking it up into a series of blog posts. Uh, you could turn it into an autoresponder series. You could use it as pieces of the information in your weekly, monthly, or quarterly company newsletter if you're uh, working for someone, but probably better if you have your own business, and then you could use your book as you see fit. The fourth one was to create a step-by-step tutorial. You could either have it in a written form or do a video format that you could put on YouTube. You could use it to create or expand your website, frequently asked questions. You could also ask a friend to do a Q&A style audio or video interview with you. Create a list of questions from that ebook, and just have either her asking the questions or you asking the questions of your friend, and you've got a Q&A that you could put out there. The seventh tip was to create a list of tips or a quick reference guide. Okay? You could take that book and break it down into checklists. You could also turn it into worksheets or create a online radio show. Just use each chapter for each is a new topic each time you do your program. You could use it to outline. Let's say you don't know what you want to do, but you know you want a YouTube channel. You're not sure about what you want to talk about or anything. Take that book and break it down. Do an outline from it, and now you've got something that you can use for topics. A 12th one would be to create infographics from the data that you've included in your book, such as stats, quotes, or tips. And then you could also host a webinar about the topic of your book or create a series of webinars using one section of the book for each class. And the 14th one was to take the outline of the book and create an e-course from it. Now, those were the 14 I gave you last week. I have 10, 11 more that I'm going to share with you today. Let's say number 15. So you have an ebook, and then you've included uh, things like stats or quotes or some type of important data. You take that and then create a press release from it. And that press release could direct people to something specific or something that you recently updated, if offering a free book or something that you want to direct people to. Is a way to help you build your email list. Have an opt-in page. Okay. 16, you could use some of the best information from your book to create a 30-second trailer to promote a paid book, or use it for promoting a service or anything that you have going on. 17, how about taking it as something that you work through, informational type book where you pick out snippets that you can share on social media, quotes, excerpts, tips, images, short video. You can do some short videos with excerpts from your book. Another one, number 18, you could host an in-person workshop using information from your book as a guide. 19, you could turn it into a one-on-one or group coaching program. A lot of people are going into coaching these days, and if you've written a book, why not use that book for your coaching program? Or create a series of short lessons that you can live stream to your audience. That's something I got to work on. My weakness, I admit, I've got a ton of weaknesses. Live streaming is one of them. I actually did two last week, and I will be doing another one tomorrow morning. I've committed myself that on Mondays I will do a live stream, so you might want to watch for it. Okay. Okay, number 20, turn it into an audio book. There are people who actually like to listen to books as they are driving to and from work or on a long trip. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to hear somebody else's voice when a book is when I have a book, because my own imagination in my head creates the voice that I feel goes with whatever it is that I'm reading. And somehow when someone else is doing the reading, it's gone. It takes all of that from me. So I don't care for audiobooks, but many people do. And that's something you should consider doing when you have a book and you're trying to figure out, okay, what else can I do with this book? Well, that's one of the things you can do. How about making a slideshow from it and then posting it uh, on there's a thing called SlideShare. You could post it there. That's a wonderful opportunity for you. And then number 22, you could turn it into a white paper of sorts where you further explore the topic. comparing different solutions. That's what I've been thinking about doing with my book because things have changed since I wrote that book. Uh, There are things that I didn't include and things I didn't think of at the time that I was writing the book that I think would be great to put in there now. So I have seriously been thinking about doing that very thing. And if you've got a book, that's something you could think about. Instead of starting from scratch, take one you've already written and see what you can do to make changes to it so it becomes a brand new book. Of course, there are two options there. You can either say an updated revision when you publish it, but if you make enough changes to it, change the title, make it a whole new book. Okay. Okay, number 23. If the ebook is large, break it into several small reports, and you can flesh out those reports, put some meat into it, and send it to your subscribers or have them opt in on your website or your Facebook by offering that as a free, uh, something free that they could receive. Number 24, if it's short, you could again flesh it out, adding more information. What I was just speaking about doing with my book, adding more information, perhaps some stats in there or quotes, maybe even some screenshots could be put into it. Some examples, for example, I just did a double clutch there. You could put some examples in there. Since you originally wrote the book, maybe there's something that has happened that you could share with your public and put that in there. And number 25, you could include some interesting visuals uh, and then post them over on Pinterest. I'm not that good with Pinterest. I do have a Pinterest account, but honestly, I don't know how to use it, so I don't really go over there very often. But there are people who do use it and they use it very well. And from what I understand, they are doing very well with Pinterest. So it's something you might want to check into. Again, it's one of those things where if your interest is there or your audience is there, then you definitely want to be there. So now we talked about some things that you could do with a book that you've written. But what if you haven't written a book? You might be thinking, well, I can't come up with any ideas for a book. Well, how about carrying a tape recorder with you everywhere you go, and anytime you see something that catches your interest, record it. Don't trust your memory. I'm telling you, I've done that too many times and then forgot what it was I was going to write about. Or if I think of it, it doesn't come back quite the same for some reason. Another one, oh, wow, take a shower. I didn't write that one. Actually, I got this list from someone else. Take a shower. Now, sometimes when I'm in the shower, uh, things do come to me. That's probably when I really need a recorder, but I need one that's maybe waterproof, or maybe I could set it just outside the shower where the water won't get to it, and I can talk loud enough so it records. That's interesting. Take a shower, huh? You can come up with some ideas there. How about driving around? Sometimes when I'm driving down the street and I'll see someone walking and all kinds of questions come to mind. Where's that person going? Why are they going there? Why is it they seem like they're in a hurry? Is there something happening or something did happen? Or are they running from someone? I mean, all kinds of questions pop into my head. And those can lead to a story, writing a short story. We don't always have to write self-help books about the bad things that happen to us. Remember last week I told you, write about some of the good things that happened to you. We like to hear about those as well. It's not always bad. So think about that. Oh, and here's one that really gets me. listening to music. Music, always the story comes up with music. Is they just, I don't know, they just touch my heart. I love romantic songs, of course. Why not? I love romance stories. But I can remember when I was a kid when songs were slightly different from what they are today. And they told a story. And I used to add my own thoughts about where that story was going, what really happened, and that kind of thing. You can get some great ideas by listening to music, and I highly recommend that. These days, I like country music. I just love country music because they always have stories, wonderful stories. How about, let's see, how about uh, maybe a telephone call you overheard, or you're in a restaurant and you happen to overhear something. It's the story ideas are all around us all the time. You just have to look and listen. Keep your mind and eyes and ears open, and something will come to you. Trust me. Now you're probably wondering, well, why on earth would I want to write a book? Well, if you're in business, it's a good idea because it is that extra credibility for you. Because in case you don't know it, today you need to be out there speaking to let people know what you're doing. And when you have a book, that gives you a little more influence. And also, when you're out there speaking, it gives you something that you can refer people to. So they're always on. You're always on their mind. Share with the things that you've accomplished, and even the struggle to get to where you're at in your business. It could help someone who is either in business or thinking about going into business. You might also think about um, writing just for the love of it. I just I've always liked the idea of writing, and I used to do it when I was a young kid, and I enjoyed it. And of course, it was not professional, but it was my writing. I liked it. I just made the mistake of leaving something that I had written for one time, and one of my sisters, got a hold to it. I don't know if she read it and took it out, or she took it out and just let others read it. But I was pretty embarrassed about it. And the end result was that I put away my pencil, my paper, and I didn't write anything again for years. And I feel sometimes that I really missed out. Uh, But I certainly have helped make a number of other people wealthy with the books that I have bought over the years that I've read. If you ever come to my house, you'll find that I have enough books to start my own used bookstore. And if by chance you happen to get a hold to my laptop or my telephone, which I guard very carefully, you'll find there's about 8,000 books on there. Truthfully, there are. And Amazon alone has well over 1,000 books on there. So I buy books. I might go hungry if I see a book that I think is good enough for me to go and spend my money on, because that's how much I enjoy reading. Now, I know everybody doesn't read the way I do, and I don't even know why I read so much. I always blame it on my grandfather, because my grandfather told me when I was a very young girl that he wanted me to read. Actually, he told me three things he wanted me to do. Reading was one, writing was the other, and arithmetic, math by today's term. We used to call it arithmetic. At any rate, those were the three things he really wanted me to do. But the one that I gravitated to, of course, was the reading. I truly love the reading. And the writing part, I enjoy it. I just wish I had paid more attention when I was in school to my English teachers. But I was too busy hiding my book in front of the class book so I could read while the teacher was talking. A few times I got in trouble when I got caught for doing that, but uh, just I just enjoy doing that. So anyway, it's reading and writing are two things that I've come to love. I also thoroughly enjoy speaking. You can probably tell because I get kind of long-winded on here. Mm, I do enjoy speaking, and I just love sharing whatever it is that I've learned with other people. And I sometimes get in trouble because I have some friends who have gotten on my case about always sharing stuff that I paid for rather than creating a class or a course. Although I am thinking about doing a writing class, and if you think you'll be interested, then I will go ahead and do one. Uh, I probably should do that the other way around. Huh? Do the class, and if you're interested, you sign up for it. Whatever the case may be, it could happen because it's one of those things I like doing. So I shared with you some tips on how to repurpose your book that you've already written. And for those of you who have not written your book yet, I offer some suggestions on ways of coming up with ideas and why you should. I've had people ask about writer's block, and I've always said just sit down and just start writing whatever's in your head, even if it's the thing that's in your head going around and around in circles, is saying, I can't think of a thing to write about. Write that. Just keep writing it until something new comes in your head. But there is something else that you can also do. Depending on, well, I would say find a book that's about whatever it is that you're writing. If it's a romance story, find a romance novel. If it's a self-help book, find a self-help book that's on the subject of what you're writing about. If it's a spiritual book, find a spiritual book on the section of spirituality that you are writing about. And open that book to any page and write the first paragraph that's in that section that you turn to. And if you need to, write two paragraphs. Then turn around and look at those paragraphs and rewrite the paragraph the way you would say it. That will help you get started in writing. And you can do this even if you haven't started writing yet, because you're trying to think of what words to put on the paper and they're not coming to you. Do what I just suggested and take those two paragraphs, one or two paragraphs that you write, and write it the way that you would say it. That will help get you going. That will help you get something on paper. And once you start writing, trust me, things start popping in your head. Ideas that you hadn't thought of before all of a sudden come to you. And write as long as something is coming to you. And when once it stops, when nothing else comes, then stop. Set your work aside. And I don't know how much time you have, but if you can come back to it later that day, that's great. But if you only have so much time in a day, if it's 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever that time is, that's the time you write. And you write at that time. And do it every day at the same time for the same amount of time. And the brain will get used to what you're doing. And it'll be ready for you to, when you go to sit down and start writing, because it knows what you want. So that's just some of my suggestions on how to get yourself going. Well, this has been exciting. I don't know how you feel, but I really enjoy sharing these things with you. And I'll be here every week so long as some of you are listening to me. I hope that the audience will grow bigger, but I'm happy that I do have an audience, which is exciting. So if you have any questions, please email me. You can email me at lwrepark@gmail.com. And if you're having trouble remembering that, then Lawana at lawanaspeaks.com. You can email me at either one of those and put in the subject line BAG, so I'll know it has something to do with this program. We love our books and our authors, and we welcome you anytime you want to be on this program. So, and I'm just always excited when I hear about someone who has made some great achievement. And I just want to give a shout out to a friend of mine. Her name is Shea Shasinga, who has, I met her back in 2014. And over the years, I've seen how she has grown so much. And yesterday, I was privileged to be part of the virtual summit in which she received an outstanding Woman of Influence Award recognition. And it was just great, a total surprise to her. And it's just awesome. So I tried to catch a picture of it. And if it comes out right, I'm going to have it over on my blog. So don't look for it today, look for it tomorrow. But go to www.lawanasblog.com, and I will have a little bit of a write-up about her receiving her award, and hopefully the picture of the plaque. I want to say, I'm saying plaque, but it was more like glass, crystal. It was beautiful. And I will post that over there as well so you can take a look at it. And if any of you are thinking about going into business, Shayla is the lady to talk to. She's done some outstanding things and helped so many people to grow. And I'm sorry to say I don't have her email with me, or I send you there to her, but you can look her up on the Share Shasinga or Christian Women CEOs, I believe it is, .com. So check her out, somebody that you want to get to know. And if you're interested in writing, I'm someone you want to get to know. My name is Lawana Parker. I'm so excited to be a part of this broadcast every week. And I will continue to share things that I know and that I learn with you. We do uh, uh, expect to have guests on the program. And I do have people in line now who want to be guests on the program. And unfortunately for me, uh, I've had some things that have popped up that have interfered with me having them come on. But hopefully I've gotten some of that straightened out, and I'm hoping that I will have my guest next week. In fact, I'm looking forward to her. She's just written a book, and I'm excited about it, but I don't want to say her name. I don't want to jinx it. But as soon as I've got the commitment from her, I will post it, and I hope that you will all tune in to listen to her because she's an exciting woman. And I have another one who, oh my gosh, yeah, I do have another lady that I really do want you to tune into. So you need to make it a habit of being a part of this program every week. Remember, we're on every Sunday, and it's always between 3 and 5. I try committing to a certain time, but it's the weekend. And for some reason, things always happen when they shouldn't. That's how I look at it. So between 3 and 5, the show will always be on each Sunday, and I look forward to you being with us again next week. So remember, this is the BAG show, and Lawan Parker is the host. And I just want to say that when you're out there, please be careful, take care of yourselves, and remember to always keep the faith.